Welcome to About Mansfield. This is your audio newspaper. I'm Steve Casillo, broadcasting from the Cellmark Studios along with the About Mansfield news team. Colleen Daniel, she's out there in Studio West. This is the November 20th, 2024, 249th edition. Coming up, it's Mansfield News, Talk, and Information.
And a little later in the episode, you will have a chance to win a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice with our Mansfield Trivia Question, courtesy of Joe Jenkins Insurance.
Let's take a look at the stories we're covering this week.
Is the Evolv scanning system doing its job at our local schools?
Mauser to provide calculators to classrooms.
Parks Department looking for a few good folks to add to their staff.
Methodist Mansfield patient receives Hero Award for life-saving donation.
City of Mansfield says, cease the grease.
Mansfield ISD to light up the night on Thursday. And in sports, turn out the lights on MISD football for the year. And Thor wants to pitch in the majors again.
And in the talk segment, Steve talks in studio with City Tourism Manager Tim Roberts. We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. This is About Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool Hand, Cool Hand, Cool Hand, where excellence is still cool.
Looking for luxury living with the feel of a resort? Discover Mason & Mill, the newest gem in apartment living. With stunning resort-style amenities, Mason & Mill redefines what it means to call a place home. Ask about our 8 weeks free special. Plus, don't miss out on the $1,000 resident referral program. When you love where you live, it's worth sharing. Managed by Willow Bridge Property Company, locally rooted and nationally respected since 1965. Mason & Mill. We create places you'll want to call home. Log on today at livemasonandmill.com. That's livemasonandmill.com.
Navigating the ever-changing real estate market can be exhausting. At the Hornburg Real Estate Group at One West, our team of experts help make the most of your home selling goals. From the ability to bring buyers multiple cash offers, offer different ways to sell your home, and even offer pay-at-close vendors, we help you get top dollar. We have a robust marketing strategy to ensure you always have options to get your home sold in the way that makes the most sense for you. Each agent at the Hornburg Real Estate Group has been expertly trained and has years of experience behind them. Find out why our clients consistently rate us 5 stars year after year. Call or text us at 817-264-7087. Again, that's 817-264-7087. Or visit us online at homesbyhrg.com.
Hi, I'm Katie Hayes, pastor of Galileo Church, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield. This portion of the news is brought to you by the Grandview Event Center in Mansfield.
The scanning system at Timberview High School is under scrutiny by parents after an incident involving a pocket knife on Thursday. Timberview principal Dr. Nastasha Neal emailed parents on Thursday stating that there was an altercation between students where one student used a small pocket knife, resulting in the nurse treating 2 students for minor cuts. During the investigation, Mansfield ISD police discovered that the Evolv scanner system created an alert on the student, but the pocket knife was not found during the physical search. School officials have recently adjusted the sensitivity of the Evolv scanners, resulting in more false alerts and required searches. In partnership with Evolv, the school administration is investigating ways to improve the processes going forward. Students who pass through the Evolv system are reminded to remove items such as 3-ring binders, eyeglass cases, etc. before entering the system. The student with the pocket knife was taken into custody and faces criminal charges along with discipline, according to the MISD Code of Conduct.
Mauser Electronics is continuing its partnership with the Mansfield ISD Education Foundation to enhance STEM education. For the 24-25 school year, Mauser is supplying Texas Instruments TI-84 Plus CE calculators to students at Lake Ridge High School. These calculators will be integrated into the school's curriculum to help the students learn coding skills. In addition to the calculators, Mauser is providing other Texas Instrument tools to help students in Algebra 2, AP Pre-Calculus, Calculus, Statistics, Geometry, and Biology. Around 500 students will gain hands-on experience in data collection, analysis, and problem solving, aligning their classroom activities with real-world scientific and mathematical applications. Mauser's ongoing support for MISD includes funding grants for teachers and initiatives like makerspaces, robotics kits, and STEM Academy programs, all aimed at providing students with advanced educational opportunities. Mauser is a distributor of semiconductors and electronic components headquartered on North Main Street, right here in Mansfield.
Are you curious if working in the Mansfield Parks and Recreation Department is anything like the TV show of the same name? Here's your chance to find out. The city's Parks and Rec Department is looking for a few good people to fill a few good roles, including Recreation Facility Manager to oversee the Mansfield Activities Center, its staff, and programs, Operations Manager to lead the crews maintaining the park's safety and beauty, Marketing and Outreach Specialist to handle social content, events, and public engagement, Recreation Attendant to assist guests at the Mansfield Activities Center, Nature Education Specialist to plan and teach nature programs at Oliver Nature Park, and Senior Bus Driver to transport senior citizens to enrichment programs. If any of these positions have piqued your interest, head on over to the city website at mansfieldtexas.gov and search for job openings.
Arlington firefighter and paramedic Ryan Hudson has been awarded the Methodist Mansfield Medical Center Community Health Hero Award for his extraordinary decision to donate a kidney. The award recognizes individuals who have made significant contributions to community health and well-being. Hudson, who donated his kidney to an anonymous recipient back in June, began exploring organ donation earlier this year with the guidance from Methodist Mansfield staff. His donation was performed at the Methodist Dallas Medical Center, part of a transplant program that has facilitated nearly 5,000 kidney, liver, and pancreas transplants since 1980. A longtime first responder, Hudson has spent his entire career assisting others in emergencies. His kidney donation aligns his commitment to public service and raises awareness about the critical need for organ donors nationwide. Hudson was celebrated during a special ceremony attended by family, friends, and community members.
Thanksgiving meals, with their rich gravies and fried foods, can take a toll on sewer systems. Fats, oils, and grease washed down the drain can solidify inside pipes, causing clogs and sewer backups. These backups may result in costly repairs, sewage overflows into homes and streets, and potential traffic disruptions if city crews need to make repairs. To address this issue, the 2024 Holiday Grease Roundup began Monday and runs through Friday, January 10th. Mansfield and other North Texas cities are partnering with organizations like the North Texas Municipal Water District, the North Central Texas Council of Governments, and the Wastewater and Treatment Education Roundtable to encourage residents to recycle used cooking oil instead of disposing of it down the drain. Recycled grease collected during the event will be converted into environmentally friendly biodiesel or biogas, reducing landfill waste and creating alternative, sustainable fuel sources. Mansfield residents can drop off used cooking oil 24/7 at the Environmental Collection Center, located at 616 South Wisteria Street. The collection station is outside the gate near the dumpster and clearly marked with signs. For more information on the Holiday Grease Roundup and proper disposal tips, questions can be directed to 817-728-3610 or emailed to ecc@mansfieldtexas.gov. As
the song goes, it's the most wonderful time of the year as the holiday season is upon us, and that means the holiday season kicks off with the annual Mansfield ISD tree lighting ceremony and concert at the MISD Center for the Performing Arts. This cherished tradition continues on Thursday evening and features a performance by pre-K students from the Jandruco Academy for Little Learners and the Children's Center, who will sing holiday carols indoors before the festivities move outdoors. Families can gather around the illuminated tree for a joyful start to the season, complete with opportunities to capture holiday photos. Again, it happens this Thursday, November 21st, starting at 6 p.m. at the Center for the Performing Arts on Debbie Lane. Basketball, football, baseball, we're talking it all because sports is next.
Are you ready to create unforgettable memories? Picture this, an enchanting event venue nestled amidst breathtaking landscapes with panoramic views right here in Mansfield. The Grandview Event Center is the perfect setting to bring your vision to life. From intimate gatherings to large-scale extravaganzas, the Grandview has flexible spaces to accommodate any occasion, be it a wedding reception, corporate Christmas party, or community gathering. Book your next unforgettable experience at thegrandviewmansfield.com. That's thegrandviewmansfield.com. The Grandview Event Center, where memories are made and dreams become reality. Book your event today.
Hey, it's Steve Casillo, and are you ready to make your voice heard? Want to bring out your ideas to life through captivating conversations and engaging visuals? Look no further than Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio, your one-stop destination for award-winning audio and video podcast recording. Equipped with cutting-edge microphones, crystal clear audio recording, and high-definition cameras, we're here to turn your ideas into engrossing content. But it's not just about the equipment. We're dedicated to bringing out the best in your content. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, we're here to elevate your podcasting game. We'll even help you with intro music, transitions, voiceover, and that professional polish that sets your podcast apart. So whether you're into interviews, storytelling, or simply sharing your expertise, Podcast Mansfield can help bring your podcasting dreams to life. Visit podcastmansfield.com. Podcast Mansfield, where creating your podcast masterpiece has never been easier.
At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we've been caring for our home team for over 15 years. Today, you'll find award-winning physicians on the medical staff, advanced neurosurgery, a Level 3 trauma center, critical care for newborns, and comprehensive orthopedic care. Methodist Mansfield, delivering the care our friends, neighbors, and home team depend on. That's community, and why so many people trust Methodist.
In sports, the Mansfield ISD football season has officially come to an end as all three teams that reached the playoffs were defeated in the first round. Euless Trinity dismantled your Mansfield Tigers 42-7. South Lake Carroll routed Legacy 69-7, while Lovejoy downed Timberview 45-19. With the high school season now in our rearview mirror, our focus turns to basketball. Boys scores from last Friday night's games include Mansfield routed South Hill 72-29. Timberview nipped Richardson 63-55, and Summit bested Legacy 67-55. Lakeridge had the night off. Over on the girls' side of the court, Summit is off to a great start with an undefeated 9-0 record, including a nail-biter over LD Bell last Saturday night with a score of 43-38. In other sports, former Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher Noah Syndergaard is continuing his attempt to return to Major League Baseball. Syndergaard graduated from Legacy High School back in 2010. He goes by the nickname of Thor and has not played baseball since August of 2023. As part of his comeback attempt, Syndergaard is said to have been losing weight, having recently lost some 30 pounds, and currently stands at 235 pounds. The pride of Legacy High, Syndergaard opened up on wanting to return to baseball back in September when he stated an interest in playing for the New York Mets again, proclaiming that he loves the fan base, the city, the culture, the history, and the passion. Syndergaard was drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays back in 2010, but spent the majority of his career playing for the Mets. If you have a comment about the show, the news, whatever's on your mind locally, the good, the bad, the ugly, you can reach us by voicemail at 817-435-2938. Again, that voicemail, 817-435-2938. We have a programming note for everyone listening right now. There will not be an episode next week as our staff takes the week off to enjoy Thanksgiving with family and friends. In the same vein, there will not be episodes next month, the week of Christmas and New Year's. By the way, if you are listening on Apple Podcasts right now, if you wouldn't mind taking a few seconds to leave us a 5-star review, the higher our ranking, the easier it will be for future listeners to find our podcast. We appreciate it. Thank you in advance. This coming Thursday, November 21st, is National Take a Hike Day, but it's also Great American Smokeout, a day where we tell cigarettes to take a hike. Now, we realize that quitting smoking isn't easy. It takes time and a plan. You don't have to stop smoking in one day, but it starts with day one. Let the Great American Smokeout event this Thursday be your day to start your journey toward a smoke-free life. You'll be joining thousands of other smokers across the country in taking an important step toward a healthier life and reducing your cancer risk. So this coming Thursday, tell cigarettes to take a hike. I wish my dad had. And after you quit smoking, take that next step to good health and take a hike. There are plenty of wonderful walking paths around Mansfield, including the award-winning linear trail. Don't do it just for you. Do it for your family and friends.
Coming up after the break, we turn the page to the features section.
Breast cancer is the second most common cancer among women. But the good news is that when we detect it early, the chances of successful treatment are significantly higher. I'm Angel Biasatti, and you'll hear more with Methodist Mansfield News to Know.
What's happening in the Mansfield real estate market? I'm Angela Hornburg, and we'll talk about it in the Mansfield Real Estate Update.
In this week's Cocktail of the Week, we're shaking up a drink that's nuttier than your family's political discussions and smoother than gravy on mashed potatoes.
We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
This portion of the news was brought to you by the Grandview Event Center in Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool hand, cool hand, cool hand, where excellence is still cool.
Looking for luxury living with the feel of a resort? Discover Mason & Mill, the newest gem in apartment living. With stunning resort-style amenities, Mason & Mill redefines what it means to call a place home. Ask about our 8 weeks free special. Plus, don't miss out on the $1,000 resident referral program. When you love where you live, it's worth sharing. Managed by Willow Bridge Property Company, locally rooted and nationally respected since 1965. Mason & Mill, we create places you'll want to call home. Log on today at livemasonandmill.com. That's livemasonandmill.com.
Congratulations to Kevin Reese, who knew that the first chief of police to serve the city of Mansfield was C.J. Prater in 1954. When we come back, this week's trivia question. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
Hi, this is Joe Jenkins with Joe Jenkins Farmers Insurance, specializing in auto, home, commercial, and life insurance. I was born and raised here in Mansfield, Texas. We're active in the community, and Mansfield's a town we really care about. Our office has over 30 years' experience in the insurance industry, and we're passionate about what we do and about customer service. For a free quote, please visit our website at joejenkinsinsurance.com or give us a call at 817-472-6058. Once again, that website is joejenkinsinsurance.com.
It is time right now for the highly coveted, wildly popular About Mansfield Trivia Question. If you are the first person to email the correct answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com, that again, trivia@aboutmansfield.com, you will receive a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice. It's brought to you by Joe Jenkins Insurance. Whether you're looking for homeowners, auto, commercial, or any other type of insurance, Joe's helped Mansfield area residents understand the insurance coverage that best fit their needs since 2010. You can find him on the internet at joejenkinsinsurance.com. Colleen, it is your turn.
Well, Steve, in 2014, the city of Mansfield adopted "Minutes to Everything, Second to None" as the official slogan. But did you know that the Mansfield Visitors Bureau has their own slogan? This week's trivia question is, what is Visit Mansfield's slogan? Email your answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com. Again, what is the official slogan that Visit Mansfield uses? Good luck, and thanks to Joe Jenkins Insurance for the gift card.
Hello, I'm Constable Sandra Lee, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. Let's open up the features section. Angel Biasatti is here to talk about breast cancer and its treatments in Methodist Mansfield News to Know. Angel?
We'll begin by discussing the early detection of breast cancer with breast surgeon Katrina Birdwell and bringing you important information about the basics of breast cancer and how women can protect themselves through mammograms. Breast cancer is the second most common cancer among women, but the good news is that when we detect it early, the chances of successful treatment are significantly higher. Today, we're talking with Katrina Birdwell, breast surgeon on the medical staff at Methodist Mansfield Medical Center. And what can you do to stay on top of your breast health? Dr. Birdwell?
Thank you, Angel, and thanks for inviting me. Just wanted to let our audience know that early detection of breast cancer matters. Breast cancer can be a silent disease in its earliest stages. Often, there are no obvious signs or symptoms, and by the time you notice something unusual, the cancer could have already advanced. That's why regular screening is so important. Early detection means that finding the cancer before it has a chance to spread and also makes the treatment easier and more effective. The statistics are clear. When breast cancer is detected in its earliest stages, the 5-year survival rate is nearly 99%. That's a powerful reason to prioritize regular screening mammograms.
What is a mammogram, Dr. Birdwell?
It is a low-dose X-ray that allows the doctor to look for changes in the breast tissue. It can detect tumors that are too small to be felt, often years before a physical symptom would develop. For women aged 40 and older, it's recommended that you have a mammogram every year, depending upon your individual risk factors. Women with a family history of breast cancer may need to start screening earlier. Some women may feel apprehensive about getting a mammogram, whether it's the discomfort of the procedure or the fear of finding out something wrong, or simply not knowing what to expect. But here's the thing. A few moments of discomfort could truly save your life. The peace of mind comes with knowing that your breast health is well worth it. It's also important to remember that mammograms are just one part of a comprehensive approach to breast health. Self-exams and exams done by clinical providers on your healthcare team can also play an important role. By combining these methods, you can increase the likelihood of catching any potential issue early.
Thank you, Dr. Birdwell, for being here today. At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we're committed to providing you with the best possible care. Our state-of-the-art mammogram services inside the breast center are designed to make your screening experience as comfortable as possible. We have a compassionate team, along with a breast cancer survivor and nurse navigator, ready to guide you through the process and answer any questions you may have. So don't wait. Call 214-933-7200. If you're 40 or older, schedule your mammogram today. Encourage your friends, sisters, mothers, daughters to do the same. And if you're under 40, talk to your doctor about your risk factors and when you should start getting screened. Remember, early detection is key. A mammogram could be the difference between catching breast cancer early or finding it too late. Let's make sure we're all doing our part to stay healthy and strong. I'm Angel Biasatti, reporting for About Mansfield podcast.
Angela Hornburg addresses the latest in the Mansfield market in the Mansfield Real Estate Market Update. Angela?
Existing home prices were down slightly year over year to $454,391, with 51 closed sales last month. The average days on market increased from 42 days to 60 days. The likely cause of that is that we now have 4.6 months of inventory on hand for the second month in a row, which means we have a lot of options, and for sellers, that means a lot of competition where buyers can take their time making selections for a new home. There are not as many buyers in the market as we have options available, which also accounts for the longer days on market. We continue to see that homes need to be priced right at market value or just under to attract buyers to them. Buyers are showing that their preference is for updated homes that are turnkey, which means they don't need carpet, paint, or anything to be fixed. For the homes selling that are not turnkey, their pricing reflects that at an under market value price. New construction home prices ticked up, with the average sold price at $653,321. They are seeing an average of 80 days on market prior to going under contract, which is actually lower month over month. The builders in Mansfield held 4 months of inventory, which means they have a lot of options available. This accounts for the homes on the multiple listing service, otherwise known as the MLS, and builders oftentimes have a lot of other homes in their inventory available, so it's safe to say there are a lot of options from builders in Mansfield. New construction homes posted a sales tally of 32 homes. In October, which is through the MLS, again, there likely were more sales off market. With the presidential election over, consumers will hopefully feel like they have an answer that they've been waiting on to move forward in the real estate market. Time will tell how the rates will be affected as we round the year out and head into quarter one. Because a lot of homeowners own their current homes at low interest rates, we are also seeing a lot of owners choose to lease their home out instead of sell it, which is a great way for them to build wealth, but it's also creating affordable housing in the community. Overall, prices remain steady, the activity in the market remains steady, and it's still a remarkable time to buy or sell. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I am Angela Hornburg, broker with One West Real Estate.
Shaken or stirred, you know it's going to be good as Brian Certain serves up a smooth, nutty concoction in the cocktail of the week. Brian?
This week's cocktail of the week is the pecan pie flip. Now, before we dive into this liquid dessert, let's appreciate the genius of this concoction. It's as if pumpkin pie decided to jump off the dessert table, take a dip in the liquor cabinet, and emerge as the life of the party. This isn't just a cocktail, it's the solution to the age-old dilemma of whether to have another slice of pie or another drink. Why not both? The pecan pie flip is a modern twist on the classic flip cocktail, a style that dates back to the 17th century taverns. Originally, flips were made with beer, rum, and eggs, heated with a red-hot poker. Our version swaps the beer for bourbon and the poker for, well, Thanksgiving spirit. Here's what you'll need to create this slice of heaven in a glass. But don't worry about taking notes as I'm giving out the ingredients and instructions. They're always posted on bourbongospel.com. Ingredients: 2 ounces of bourbon, 1 ounce of a pecan syrup, a half ounce of heavy cream, 1 whole egg, 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, ice, and for garnish, freshly grated nutmeg and a candied pecan. For the pecan syrup, you're going to take 2 cups of pecans, toasted, 1.5 cups of sugar, 1.25 cups of water, a half teaspoon of almond extract. Now, let's walk through the process of creating this drinkable dessert. First, make the pecan syrup. Blend the toasted pecans with sugar and water until smooth and strain through a cheesecloth. Then add the almond extract. In a shaker, combine the bourbon, the pecan syrup, the heavy cream, the whole egg, and the bitters. Perform a dry shake without the ice for about 10 seconds to emulsify the egg, then add ice and shake again for about 15 seconds. You want it frothier than a Steve Casillo tall tale.
Wait, what?
And then strain into a chilled coupe glass. Garnish with freshly grated nutmeg and a candied pecan balanced on the rim. Now, take a minute to admire your creation. It's like autumn in a glass. That's if autumn were creamy and boozy. Now, why is this the perfect cocktail for our Thanksgiving theme month? Well, pull up a chair and let me crack this nut for you. First, it captures the essence of everyone's favorite Thanksgiving dessert. The pecan syrup brings that rich, nutty flavor that's as iconic to Thanksgiving as turkey and family arguments. The bourbon provides a warm, spicy backbone that have you feeling toastier than a marshmallow on a sweet potato casserole. The cream and the egg give it a silky, luxurious texture that's reminiscent of that perfect forkful of pie filling. And the bitters, they add depth and complexity, much like how Grandma's secret ingredient elevates her pecan pie to legendary status. But most importantly, it's a conversation starter. Serve this at your Thanksgiving gathering, and suddenly no one's talking about politics anymore. They're too busy. The pecan pie flip is more than a drink. It's a liquid manifestation of Thanksgiving indulgence. It's proof that sometimes the best way to end a meal is to drink your dessert. And whether you're using it as a pre-dinner aperitif, a post-dinner digestif, or a delicious distraction when dinner conversation gets too heated, this flip has your back. So there you have it, folks, the pecan pie flip. It's nuttier than your family tree, smoother than your brother-in-law's excuses for getting the cranberry sauce, and more satisfying than unbuttoning your pants after the big meal. Whip this up for your holiday gatherings and watch as your guests forget all about the actual pecan pie. Next week, we'll be shaking up another Thanksgiving favorite, so make sure to tune in. And until then, happy mixing and enjoy responsibly. And remember, in cocktails, as in Thanksgiving dinner, it's all about balance. A balance of flavors, a balance of textures, and a balanced walk back to the couch for a post-drink nap. As always, I'm open to hear your take and your input. You can reach me at brian@bourbongospel.com. And until next week, as Mark Twain said, too much of anything is bad, but too much whiskey is barely enough. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I'm Brian Certain.
We're back in 60 seconds with Steve's in-studio interview with tourism manager Tim Roberts.
Imagine a city where innovation knows no bounds, where dreams take flight, and the future unfolds before your very eyes. Welcome to Mansfield, a beacon of growth and a testament to vision. In the heart of Mansfield, a remarkable transformation is underway. But it's not just about the physical landscape. It's about the spirit that drives us forward. A spirit of collaboration that bridges cultures, a spirit of entrepreneurship that fuels prosperity, and a spirit of community that binds us as one. Mansfield is more than just a place. It's a canvas where diversity paints the picture of progress. From art festivals that ignite creativity to tech hubs that redefine boundaries, this city celebrates every voice, every passion. Mansfield, where growth knows no limits and the vision is limitless. Brought to you by the unstoppable spirit of the Mansfield Economic Development Corporation.
Hi, this is Teresa Cohagen, Director for Visit Mansfield, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to another segment of About Mansfield. I'm Steve Casillo as we make the transition from news to talk. And in the studio today, we've talked with a lot of his contemporaries at the city, from the city manager, the assistant city manager, all the way down to his boss and other people. I think it's time we have him in. And you hear his voice on the podcast. On the first episode of every month, he presents the Mansfield Cultural Arts Calendar. We welcome Tim Roberts to About Mansfield.
Great to be here.
Let's find out about a little bit about Tim Roberts. How long have you been with the city?
Been with the city over 6 years now. Started late April 2018. So we're approaching that 7-year mark, pretty fast.
You getting the 7-year itch?
I mean, at this point, we never stop scratching around here. It's just nonstop movement. You
didn't start as the tourism manager, though. Or am I wrong?
I started as the marketing and promotions manager of the Mansfield CVB, Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Okay, so Visit Mansfield.
Yes, Visit Mansfield. And pretty much over time, just as positions have shifted and departments have been created, I've been given the title of tourism manager. My overall duties haven't really changed. They've just expanded.
Okay, so let's see how well you know your department.
Oh, boy.
All right, so the episode that we released just before Thanksgiving, our trivia question of the week was, what is the slogan that is used by Visit Mansfield?
Oh, yeah, because it's a slogan I'm moving us away from. The slogan is, come for the location, stay for the fun.
That's it.
Yep, and that was the slogan that really kind of started when the CVB began well over a decade ago. And it's something I can say we're no longer relying on quite as much.
Yeah.
We're not just a spot where you can go stay in a hotel to visit all the other places in DFW. We've been angling for a very long time to be a destination in and of ourselves. And we're getting there more and more every single year. And so it's actually a slogan I've moved away from more and more over the last couple of years, because we want to be known as our own city, not just we happen to be in the middle of DFW. Now, you can't ask for a better spot, obviously.
There you go.
We get a ton of traffic because of that, but it's allowed us to expand on a lot of other things.
Well, I'm sorry to have brought that slogan back up, but
it's good to educate folks. They know that's the slogan, and they can watch for new slogans coming in the future.
You are. I don't hear a Texas accent coming out of you, so you're not a native.
I am a native who went foreign, who came back and just never picked the accent back up.
Where were you born?
Born up in Sherman, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yes, born in Sherman, Texas.
About 2 hours north of us.
Yes, just about an hour and a half, 2 hours north, right there on the Oklahoma border. So I was born up in Sherman. Parents were pastors, so actually lived out in East Texas for a while. So there is video of me as a 5-6-year-old with the thickest, deepest East Texas accent you've ever heard.
Oh, wow.
But then after the fact, we ended up moving overseas when I was 8 and lived in the tiny country of Latvia my entire childhood growing up until college, essentially.
Wow.
And so when I came back, everyone assumed I was a Latvian who had learned English because I had that kind of accent.
The language in Latvia is
Latvian.
Latvian.
Yes.
Do you speak Latvian?
I do. I spoke it a lot better 12, 15 years ago.
Okay.
It fades. It's a very useful language to know because around 1 million people speak it worldwide. And by that, I mean it's not very useful to know at all.
Does anybody in your home speak it?
Oh, my parents are fully fluent still.
Okay.
My sister was 2 years younger than me, and so she was at the cutoff age of when it's super easy to learn languages. She picked it up in a year and a half and was borderline fluent. For me, it was always jumping 6-foot hurdles to try to pick it up.
Yeah. Why did your parents move to Latvia?
They were missionaries.
Cool.
Had been pastors and, I guess got the promotion. I don't know. Got the promotion, the demotion, whatever you call it. Got the calling to be missionaries and ended up, obviously this was we moved there just around 5.5 years after the fall of the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
So it was a brand new country that you could even go into. And so it was very fresh. We got the full experience. It was actually really unique looking back on it now to be in a country that still had not left that era at all, was still, lingering, that crazy past that they were coming from. Nowadays, you go there and it feels like any other European country. Everything gets westernized, but we saw it at its most authentic, whatever you want to call it.
Talk about some of the cultural differences. You said you came back, you were college age. Yeah. So by that age, you are able to recognize the cultural differences between Latvia and moving back to Texas.
Well, the problem is Texas is a country unto itself, and
so the union of yes,
anybody in the country can come to Texas and feel like they've come to a whole different country. But yes, I remember the only time anyone would ever speak to you in public over there is if something had gone wrong. If you were in their way or had offended them beyond all belief. And so the first time you walk into Walmart and someone looks at you and says, well, how you doing? You just freeze. You think, what on earth is going? Why is this person talking to me?
That's right. What have I done?
And so I probably came off as very cold and standoffish for at least a few years coming back to the States before I realized, oh, you're allowed to say hi back. You're allowed to make eye contact with people. So that Texas friendliness took some getting used to, for sure.
Interesting. Did you learn to drive in Europe?
No, did not. Driving age was actually 18, so I never hit there. And trust me, I don't regret it because I don't want to drive on European roads.
Usually people who sit in that very chair, I ask where they went to high school. Do you remember the name of your high school?
I went to essentially 3 different high schools.
Okay.
My freshman year, I was still doing old school DVD schooling. You'd get the full stack of DVDs and you'd put it in and hit play and watch your class. For my sophomore and junior year of high school, I actually went to a school called North Star Academy, and they were the pioneers of internet schooling. It was the very beginning of being able to go to school via the internet, actually having some video lectures, having chat rooms and message boards that you could communicate and submit your stuff. And then I actually came back to the States for my senior year of high school. And so I did attend Texoma Christian School in Sherman, Texas. That's where my diploma's from.
Sherman, Texas. Then I had breakfast in Sherman. I think that's the only claim to fame of ever having been to Sherman was having just passing through and had breakfast. You have a background. Well, before we get into your background, you went to college?
Yes, went to college down in Waxahachie at what is now known as Nelson University as of this semester. My diploma says Southwestern Assemblies of God University, but the domain name is now Nelson. So I was taking some getting used to. Went there, got a 4-year degree in communications and digital media.
All right. And you put that degree to work because I know you used to work in TV.
Yes. Out of college, did the whole freelance route, wedding videography, all of that.
Oh, wow.
Did some work with the university helping launch the sports broadcasting network that we have now that we run over there. And then transitioned perfectly into CW33 in Dallas. They were launching a brand new experimental newscast called Newsfix. It was right up my alley. It was all prepackaged 90-second stories laid one after the other. No on-camera talent, no anchors, no desk, just 90-second news packages for 30 straight minutes. So it was a wild time.
I want to go back to the wedding videographer for a second here because you and I now have something in common in that I have probably DJ'd close to 1,000 wedding receptions. And so I always ask people who either work in or have worked in the wedding industry, do you recall your most memorable wedding?
Oh boy, good or bad?
Either or. The one that sticks out. And I'll relate a story after that.
Yes. You know what? Honestly, the one that stands out the most to me, and is actually a good one. I'll stick with a good one here. And it was the first and only Indian wedding I got to do.
Oh my gosh, I hear they're beautiful.
Oh, and I only did the last day because they only needed a second videographer for the last day. So the other videographer had been there for 3 full days of all this. I show up day 4. That party went till 4 a.m. Usually, as the wedding videographer, you're lucky if they've got like a cold sandwich for you in the back. No, they just said, hit the buffet. So I'm eating, naan bread and just amazing curry and everything. So that was an absolute blast. That one stood out above all the others as I left going, I actually had a good time myself tonight. Most nights I left demoralized about the state of humanity. That night I left having had a good time.
The wedding that sticks out in my mind, I was doing a rather large, maybe 200-300 person reception at a really nice hotel ballroom. And the groom came up to me and says, I need you to play the song Tequila. Yeah, okay. All right. And to continue, just keep playing something after that to continue what we're about to do. And okay, great. my song ends, ladies and gentlemen, okay, here's song Tequila. Everybody gets in a big circle around the edge of the dance floor, and the groom takes out a handle of tequila. A handle is the largest, like a gallon size a bottle of tequila, puts it in the middle of the dance floor. And he starts off by doing, the Pee Wee Herman dance that he did to the song Tequila, reaches down to the floor, picks up the bottle, takes a sip, and pulls somebody else from the circle to do the same thing until the bottle has been emptied. Now, what made this unusual was this was a Catholic wedding, and the priest actually happened to be not only attending the reception, he wound up in the circle around the edge of the dance floor. And a bridesmaid came up. She did her little pee-wee dance. She took a sip of the bottle, and she looks around. Who hasn't been chosen yet? The priest. And wouldn't you know, he was so giving in the fact that he actually came up and he did a little pee-wee dance, took a sip of it. He actually wiped off the mouth of the bottle first. That piece actually wound up on America's Funniest Home Videos.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, this is it. This is the story I will always tell out of 1,000 some. I'd never kept track on winning receptions. Let's talk about TV.
Oh, yeah, because after that, I transitioned over to the news side of things, news and sports.
Yes. So CW33, and you get to do your own thing in creating. Did you have an editor telling you what stories to do, or you just went out and did them?
Oh, no. Every day started at 8 o'clock in the morning meeting, and you'd get your assignment that day, or you'd pitch your assignment and off to the races. That was every single day.
As a reporter for CW33, let's go back to memories. Do you have a story that sticks out as, man, that is the story that defined me, or that's the story that it was the most humorous, or what have you?
Obviously, I was lucky enough to cover sports, so I got to cover all the major sporting events for 4 years. So as a diehard sports fan, that was awesome. There is one story that I always tell that is by far the most hilarious story.
Yeah.
So it was Veterans Day week, and I was actually already editing a story I'd shot, and they said, hey, can you run out to a car dealership real fast? There's a guy who is known for doing this para-jumping. He lost his legs in a parachuting accident like decades ago, but now he's done like 5,000 successful jumps since then, when they said he could never jump again. And so we got to the car dealership. It's just me with my camera. There's a couple other photogs from CBS 11, Fox 4 that I all know. It gets delayed because there's a problem with the helicopter motor. So, of course, I'm thinking, oh, my goodness, my other story, I need to go back and edit. So I'm waiting. And finally they take off. So we set up, we get our cameras, we're all set up and looking, and we're, peering through our viewfinder, and we see him jump. And I've seen enough, football games where the shooters jump in.
Sure.
And it always feels like they're way too far off. And at the last second, they swoop in and land it. And you're always amazed at how these guys do it. And so I'm recording, and I'm waiting, and I see him. I kind of saw some weird movement, and so I'm watching through my viewfinder. I'm watching, trying to track him in, following. I'm like, boy, he's going to cut this close, following. And then I see the tree line and go, oh my goodness, he's 1.5 miles away. What's gone wrong?
Oh, wow.
Disappears behind the tree line. I look over. All of a sudden, 2 cop cars go screaming down the road. I look, I'm grabbing my gear, like, what's going on? And one of the other photogs I know, he looks at me because he overheard. He goes, dude, he lost his legs. And I go, that's a sick joke, man. That's sick. He goes, no. He got hit by a gust of wind and his prosthetic legs shot off of him and he couldn't steer. There was a 18-wheeler flying down the highway that all of a sudden has a pair of prosthetic legs crash in front of him, almost causes a massive pileup.
Oh, wow.
And this guy has to then stick the landing with no legs. And so we rushed over there in time to see him getting loaded up. And so literally, I felt like a jinx that day. He had completed something like 5,000 successful jumps up until that day. That was his first non-successful jump and just happened to be there. And so I take it back to the studio and I'm like, so this is just supposed to be an inspirational story. I have no idea what we do with this footage now.
Yeah. Do you air it or do you not?
Yes.
I would assume it did not make it to air?
We were news fix. It made it to air.
What? Okay. Sensationalized.
It was, let's just say for our news director, it was right up his alley. It was the exact kind of story he wanted, the weird stuff going on in Dallas.
Newsfix, if I recall, they were pretty much the young the young person's news.
Yes, it was designed to kind of focus on the demographic who doesn't watch news.
Okay.
Trying to grab the, it just shows how long ago this was. Our news director still called it the MTV watcher. Now the MTV watchers are all, the same people who watch the news. But at least back then it was still that crossover of wanting folks between the 18 and 35 demo who aren't going to watch, 5 p.m. newscasts. But hey, maybe you'll watch this weird quirky take on the news.
Yeah, and it was.
It was very quirky.
Yeah.
We actually were named by D Magazine the best newscast one year. They gave it to WFAA every year. And they gave it to us one year. They compared us to a video of a water skiing squirrel. So it was a little bit like electing Carrie prom queen, I think. But we took the award and ran with it. We were hyped.
That's like people voting for Kinky Friedman.
Exactly. Yes.
That it's just weird enough to vote for it.
The problem was Dallas wasn't quite weird enough yet. The newscast always worked a little bit better in Houston. I think it would work great in Austin. Dallas wasn't quite ready for it yet, I don't think.
Did 33 transition you to the city of Mansfield, or?
Yes. Yeah, it was when I was there, and the news business is exhausting. It wears you down. And after 4.5, 5 years of doing it, I was like, you know what? I've had my fun. I've learned skills that have, crafted me for life. I've got to experience so many great things, checked a dozen items off my bucket list. Time to move on. It was around the same time that I could tell that Tribune Media, the parent company, probably wasn't going to give us much more time.
Money.
Time, money, computers, any of that. And so I ended up landing right here in Mansfield straight from there.
I was having a conversation with a gentleman just yesterday. He was right here in the hallways. He has spent he's worked in radio for 20 years here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I have probably 20 years of radio in San Diego, and we talked about it. Unless your name is on the billboard, you're probably not going to make a whole lot of money in media. And I related him a story of, yes, I worked for a talk show host who was probably making $1 million a year. Mm-hmm. And I was somewhere in the mid 5 figures.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, is that fair? I don't know if it's fair enough. But media,
I could do my rants about the folks in DFW who probably are making high 7 figures, and if you actually did it per hour, well, they're still making 7 figures an hour for most of that.
Exactly. You started as the marketing and promotions manager at the city, and have worked your way up again with the titles through promotions of the tourism manager. What exactly do you do for the city?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
This is my performance review.
This is it.
Here we go. I gotta
Joe.
What would you say you do around here?
That's right. If I know Joe's listening, because he
oh boy. Now the pressure's really on. Essentially, my job is it's the marketing promotions element stays exactly the same. I'm still crafting all the materials that go out to promote Mansfield more widely. Whether that's promoting events to folks who fall outside of our tourism radius, or again, promoting the profile of the city, making sure we show up in the search engine, optimization, making sure that people are aware of our existence. That's how we pick up that traffic of folks who, hey, they just happen to be coming to DFW. They want to hit the stockyards. They want to see the Kennedy Museum, and they want to know where to stay. Hey, look at us. We're right in the middle. Sure. Or, hey, I'm coming in for a Cowboys game. Let's find a place that's, a little quieter to stay. say, doesn't have the same stadium rates for the hotels. Oh, look, there's 20 minutes south, there's Mansfield. So a lot of what I do is just making sure that we have a forward-facing marketing campaign at all time and websites all set up to attract those folks in. Then on the other shoe, I am out there trying to secure events for the city.
Sure.
Whether that's helping support local organizations to plan events, through sponsorships, grants, helping them get off the ground with things that can attract people here. Or again, what we've done a lot in the past is bringing in tournaments and events to our venues. So,
the city's growing.
Mm-hmm.
They have groundbreakings almost every day.
Yep.
And in about a year and a half from now, we're going to have this incredible stadium.
That's the goal.
And not too far after that, we're going to have a place called Geyer Commons and a place to hang out. So people won't have to go to Dallas or Fort Worth. That they'll be coming. Your tourists will be coming to Mansfield.
Exactly. Yeah. Because right now our main tourism draw is the athletics scene. Between the Star Center, Fieldhouse USA, the Skinner Sports Complex. We have a lot of great venues that we're hosting tournaments every single weekend that pack out our hotels. That's essentially, if you wanted to sum my job up in one sentence, it's make sure the hotels are full. That's if in one sentence. It expands out way beyond that. But that is my job in one quick sentence. And so we're keeping those right now stocked. And then, looking forward to those, bigger developments down the road. That's where we start competing for some big level stuff. That's where we're starting to punch above what our current weight is.
Well, every time I go to one of the major special events around Mansfield, you are always there. So I know there's more to just filling up hotels on your resume. That you're busy.
Yes, and a lot of that is we're housed with the community engagement department, which is special events and arts, and so. Along with that, I handle all the promotions for the special events and for our cultural arts in the city as well. I manage all those social media accounts just for the day-to-day. And then when it comes to the special events, I'm always out there with the camera getting video and photos for next year's special event.
Sure.
To get the promotions ready for that one.
I would assume you have Sky Elements on speed dial.
That's Angie. Angie
Okay.
Henley has Sky Elements on speed dial. I just find out about when they're breaking world records and try to find a good spot to get video of it.
That's awesome. Then where's Tim Roberts going to be 5 years from now? And then let's follow that up with 10 years from now.
Oh goodness, I'm never good at these questions at all.
Will you be the head of Visit Mansfield?
That's a question for Teresa Cohagen right there. I honestly, a lot of what we do is so based in the 6 months from now.
Yeah.
I'm always living 6 months ahead to where I, am so focused on the future, but there's no point in getting, that far ahead. There's really no point in, because if you had asked me, 5 years ago where I was going to be now, there's no way I could have, guessed on what we were going to have, what we weren't going to have, what was, going to be the main focus now versus then. I will say one of my side passions is paranormal tourism. It's something that I've really been working to start over the last 5 years. We've grown it a lot.
The ghost tours and things like that.
The ghost tours, the paranormal investigations, the expansion of Halloween events. And with that, we've drawn more attention to the city, to where the Ghost Adventures came here this year, shot an episode at a house. I mean, our website blew up the next day because that's the first time 98% of the country's heard about Mansfield, Texas, is watching that show. And so, that's something, we talk about trying to, grow some weird things in the town. That's something I'm aiming for, at least right now, is expanding that to bring folks in for all different reasons, beyond just your corporate events and your soccer tournaments, get them here hunting some ghosts in our historic locations. And that helps feed our historic downtown and all the, cool historic places we do have here in Mansfield, and tell those stories as well.
Tim, everybody has a superpower. What is yours?
Superpower. I will say if video editing can be a superpower, it is for me, and I credit CW33 with that. I always say back when I was covering the Cowboys, we'd have a 3:30 start. Game would end at 6:30. I'd get out of the locker room at around 7. 8:15, sprint back to the station as quick as I could, usually get back to the station around 8:45, 8:50, and my story would be slated to run at 9:02. Wow. And I could edit my story between 8:51 and 9:02 and have it uploaded and ready to go. Was it the best edit I've ever done in my life? No. But I got to the point that it took me 10 edits to ingest and export a video. Sure. Now, again, Joe doesn't need to hear this part, so when they ask me to make a video, I can't do it in 10 minutes. No one in the city of Mansfield needs to worry about how fast I can do it. Trust me, it takes 2 weeks.
That's right.
But that is something, it's a passion of mine. I love video editing. I've made a number of different mini documentaries here in the city. We won an award out at the Roswell Film Festival this last summer, which was a blast to go attend. So I love video editing, and I can do it quicker than I know how I can possibly do it.
The 10-minute scenario reminds me of, there's an old adage in radio that it's good enough for AM radio.
Yes.
And if you have to get that on in 10 minutes, it's good enough for CW33.
It was everything was, but actually, we sometimes we would say it's good enough for A block, because if you were in A block, that meant you were running between 9 or 5 to 5:09 or 9 to 9:09.
Sure.
And if you were in A block, it meant you were one of the most important stories. So if you were in B block, it better look really good. Yeah. A block, as long as it airs, you succeeded that day.
In the minute or so, the couple of minutes that we have left, I'm just going to open up the mic if you want to give thanks to anybody, Joe, or shout out to anyone. This is your moment to shine, and any parting words that you may have.
Yeah, obviously the team we have over in community engagement, we are essentially a 4-department, 4-staff. Each department is a 1-staff person. So Rosie Gilbert over there, Angie Henley, and of course led up by Teresa Cohagen. We are the ones who. We all like to brag that we have the best jobs in Mansfield, because we're all about making Mansfield fun.
Sure.
We're all about making it more colorful, more event-filled, making sure that everyone, from businesses to venues, they're succeeding, that we're growing organizations here in the town. So really, we do have a great team. It's the same team that's been there since I've started. So it's been 6 full years with all of them, and it's just great to work with over there. Couldn't still be here if it wasn't for how much work they all put in and the great camaraderie we've put together over there.
It sounds like a great group. You're out there on Matlock Road and away from City Hall.
I'm not going to lie. We have the best office in town too, because
you got a view of the pond over there.
We got a view of the pond. We got a bobcat that walks by my window, and just about every day, my lunch break, I just take a nice walk down to Oliver Nature Park and get some fresh air and don't look at a screen for around 30 minutes. No, I will in fact brag and say we're lucky enough to have the best office in the city of Mansfield.
Again, you hear him the first episode of every month on the podcast with the cultural arts calendar. And Tim, first of all, there's a lot of information that I didn't know about you, and I have had a blast getting to know Tim Roberts, and thanks for being on About Mansfield.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Coming up next week on About Mansfield, don't forget, we are taking the week of Thanksgiving off. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, where we'll talk in studio again with yet another fine Mansfield restaurant. You'll just have to tune in to find out who it is. In the meantime, this is the place where you will hear the latest Mansfield news, talk, and information. Until then, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, engage, connect, amplify, elevate, celebrate, embrace, explore, share, love, or support this podcast. If you haven't already, so you never miss an episode. It's free and it's easy. Head on over to our website, aboutmansfield.com. Enter your email address right there on the homepage. We will never, ever, 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 ever send you any spam. We promise. Honey, start carving the turkey.
About Mansfield is recorded at Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio. Hosts, Steve Casillo and Colleen Daniel. Moment with the Mayor feature, Michael Evans. Methodist Mansfield News to Know, Angel Biasatti. Mansfield Real Estate Market Update, Angela Hornburg. Cultural Arts Calendar, Tim Roberts. Cocktail of the Week, Brian Certain. Post-production, editing, mixing, and mastering, Steve Casillo and Andrew Miner.
This podcast is copyrighted by Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this podcast without written consent is prohibited. We thank you all for listening. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Steve Casillo. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And this is About Mansfield.